Record to the cloud. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to teach you about creating a newsletter from your company page. So I clicked on the create button. You can start a post. We've discussed creating an event. Posting a free job is if you're looking to hire somebody from your company. And this is what they call it publishing an article. So we're going to click publish an article. Now there's two different types of long form content on LinkedIn. There is an article, which is a standalone long form piece, which is what we've opened up now. And the lovely thing about articles and newsletters on LinkedIn is that you get this wonderful editing function, and then you can go down and you can type your article, you can add links, you can add images, you can make it very dynamic, and you need to add an image for the article. Again, that article image template is in the checklist for all the images that you need on LinkedIn, because they're all different sizes. None of them are the same. Now, I've just clicked on publishing an article. The difference between an article and a newsletter is a collection of articles that you post frequently and come under a particular headline. So the newsletter headline, in my case, for my business, is Big Ideas for Careers, and then each article forms part of the cadence of an individual newsletter. On the left here, though, I collect on my company page. So you have the option of creating a newsletter and an article from all of the different company pages that you have. My personal page is what I have my main newsletter on, though. I've chosen not to create a newsletter from my company page simply because I chose to go with one main newsletter. So there you can see I've selected myself. So this is now swapping to my profile. And they give me the option of creating an individual article or going into my newsletter, Big Ideas for Careers. So if I click into my newsletter option, that's what it's allowed me to do. And then on the right-hand side here, you have all of the settings. Now, long-form content on LinkedIn, whether it's an article or a newsletter, is referenced by Google. So you can add an SEO title, an SEO description, and remember, you can create the article URL once you've written it. So I haven't got an article URL now because I haven't written it in the draft. But remember, the search engine optimization of LinkedIn is so incredibly powerful. So you want to be able to create articles in keywords that are going to be picked up by Google. So this is where it just shows you under that newsletter, you can save drafts. So you can have a whole bunch of drafts. These are some from early days, 2016. I've still got here that I never ended up becoming published, but these were just a bunch of drafts. You can also schedule your newsletter. So once you write an article in a newsletter or as a standalone article, you can schedule when you want it to be released. And then it shows you all of the published newsletters. So this was the article under a newsletter, My Big Ideas, that I published, and I'm going to click on it and it opens it. Now, this is why I just want one newsletter, is I want one call to action of people to subscribe to my newsletter. I don't want to have a newsletter on my personal profile and then a newsletter from the Career Revolution podcast, and then a newsletter from the club, and then a newsletter from my business page. And this is entirely for everyone to decide and think about in terms of what is the most important thing. Remember, you don't want to give people too many different options because it's going to splinter where you want them to go. And the lovely thing about a newsletter is that you can see who has subscribed to it. So my newsletter is pinned on my profile. It's from my profile, so it's me in my name. It's Big Ideas for Careers. It has a title. So there is the, oops, sorry, that's just clicking through to my profile. The name is Big Ideas for Careers, and then the subtitle is Big Ideas Start Small and It's Never Too Late to Start. And I've written 10 different editions. And each edition, I've used the same image because I write them monthly, but each edition is different with a different title, with a different headline. And there are all the different newsletters. But the exciting thing is I get to see who are the people that have subscribed to my newsletter. Now, these are people who have most recently subscribed, and a lot of the times people will subscribe to my newsletter who are not actually connected to me. They might be following me, but very few of them are first degree connections. And I have the option of following them or engaging with them directly. Now, this subscriber thing has just been ticking over since the first newsletter, which I wrote, and I'll go down to when that was. It was exactly a year ago. So that's the power of collecting. I'm just trying to see where's the date. 8th of March, 2024. I wrote my first newsletter article, and the subscriber count has just ticked up and up and up and up and up over those days, in the past year. I don't necessarily get huge amount of engagements. I mean, on this first one, I didn't get a huge amount of engagement. I got 2 comments, and I think I commented myself, and then 9 likes. But that's absolutely fine. I don't mind that. I'm not here for comments and likes. That's not going to buy me business. It's who's subscribing, who's interested, and who's getting this from me regularly. Now, the nice thing about an article or a newsletter, as I scroll down, is you can add images. So I embedded an image to a product that I sell, the 21 Daily Prompts. And there's a link. You can actually click on the link. I've then got an image for the career strategy session. You can see my branding has updated and changed quite a lot. I created this pink line is actually a file, an image that I created in Canva that I pull into my article to create this division. You don't get that in the article. So then I talk about the career strategy session. Then I've got my division again. Here's my podcast. I talk about that. I've embedded an actual link to the podcast. Click on the image to watch on YouTube. You can embed this link. So if you click on there, it opens up the YouTube. You can tag people and their company in the description. I've got the Apple and Spotify links, and then the call to action to subscribe. And then the bottom of all of my newsletters, I have About Me. So I created this About Me image in Canva. That actual image there. So then it goes into describing who am I, what do I do, and then my call to action, book a call today. And that's the end of my article. So my article ends with that main call to action. And then LinkedIn give you this option here, which again is purely just algorithm based, more articles for me. So anybody who clicks on a past article and read will also get the option. These are other people, Nikki Taylor, Sandra Calhoun, and the Career Shifters newsletter, who have also written articles about career stuff. So you are going to get LinkedIn pointing you to competitors, but that's fine. That doesn't matter. The most important thing about a LinkedIn article and newsletter is once you publish it, you just have to publish. LinkedIn handle all the distribution. They make sure that this gets sent to your contacts, and LinkedIn handle the fact that it is stored, and here it is, and you've got a unique LinkedIn URL. No, I don't want to report it, but if I click into one of those posts, it gives me a URL here to share. So if I click share, I can share it in a message. I can repost this to my feed, and there's copy link. So I can copy the link from my article, just like I can do that from events, and share them across my social media platforms. This article I chose to write from my personal profile. You can, however, with company pages and as an entrepreneur, write an article from your company page. However, you need to have a minimum of 150 people who are following you on that company page. So if I just tab back to where we began, you will see that I opened up the article function from the company page, and I chose to then move to the article to show you all of the different sections here. So if I go back, I now want to write an article from my company page. There we go. I'm now writing an article from that. And each article has search engine optimization settings. So each individual article has that. And here the prompt is they're prompting me to create a newsletter, which I don't want to do. I don't want to create a newsletter, but if you do, this is what, if you want to create a newsletter from your company page, this is what's going to come up. A title for your newsletter, and you want it to be really engaging. I mean, nearly 7,000 people have subscribed to Big Ideas for Careers. So my newsletter wasn't the career strategy newsletter. My newsletter wasn't what to do in your career strategy. It was Big Ideas for Careers, and that helped. You then select the cadence. You can choose daily, weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. I definitely suggest choosing a cadence that you can stick with. So daily is a bit insane, but hey, you could do that. Weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. So there is that. Then you're going to put your description of what your newsletter is, and then you're going to upload an image for the newsletter. I chose the image of myself in the tag for the newsletter rather than creating something else. And the good news is it's the same size image as a logo on company pages. And then LinkedIn tell you something very important here. Page followers will be invited to subscribe. So when you publish, all of your page followers are invited to subscribe, and your newsletter is featured on your page, and they send a copy of the notification and an email to your subscribers. So this is the kind of distribution that LinkedIn manage and handle, which is fantastic. So whenever somebody
push publish.
Yeah, you just have to push publish. Whenever somebody chooses to follow my page or me, they get an invitation to subscribe to my newsletter, which they don't have to accept, but the option there is to accept. It's a really exciting function that when anybody follows you or follows your newsletter, they get that the request from LinkedIn to follow the article. So again, that's where my thinking was, more people follow me in my personal capacity. Because the algorithm, I don't want to be posting myself and my company page. I chose, and I think it makes more sense as an entrepreneur, to create a newsletter from your personal page, because every time somebody follows you, they're going to be invited to subscribe to that newsletter. And in that newsletter, like I've shown you, you can tell them everything about your business, you can go and break down as much as you want. So it didn't make any sense for me to have Pete writing from a company page when I had such high engagement and so many connections on my personal page. And every time someone follows me, they get prompted to follow that newsletter. Does that make sense, Ingrid?
Yes, it's amazing. Alicia, so you showed us earlier how you can actually share it. There's a copy link and then you can go and share it. So would it then make sense to, instead of writing a blog, write a newsletter here to go out, copy that link? Could you then go and share it on other platforms? Or do those people have to be LinkedIn users? I'm thinking about repurposing,
Repurposing, it's a very good example. I mean, if you have a functioning website, obviously writing a blog from your website is going to boost that website search engine optimization, so you as an individual get found. If somebody knows to look for you and searches your name, your LinkedIn profile comes up as one of the first search engine optimization. So I blog from my website because it supports my business pay, you know, my website support. And what I've been doing with my newsletter is writing on LinkedIn about the work that I do. But and my newsletters on my articles on LinkedIn can get found. In fact, I was found because I wrote an article in 2018, how to find your purpose in your career, and somebody Googled purpose, picked me up, found me, and then invited me. And it was the Schneider Entrepreneurial Institute. It was this tertiary education college in New York, and they asked me to do a talk on finding your purpose. So
Oh,
the
wow.
the two are very important, but
Yeah. No,
this
that
is where,
makes sense.
yeah,
That makes
it
great
can.
sense.
I think it's very important. You can blog and you can repurpose your blogs on your newsletter on LinkedIn, knowing that that article and that newsletter has its own search engine optimization. So
Right.
it's going to have huge visibility of being picked up on the internet.
So, Lisa, when would it make sense to share, and where would you share to?
So you could share your newsletter on LinkedIn into other social media channels. You can share your newsletter on LinkedIn into your email database. But remember, it depends on your business, the initial intentions of setting it up, where your primary audience is. If I'm sharing my newsletter on LinkedIn to Facebook, Facebook users then click on it, but they have to have a LinkedIn account. But
Okay,
the
right.
power of writing a newsletter or an article on LinkedIn as it is, without sharing it across to other social media channels, is that it's getting referenced by Google. So I
Mm.
would use the published article on LinkedIn to share into my networks that I make. So as you grow your
Yes.
circle of connection, somebody connects with you, you use that jam sandwich strategy. You could then say, I've recently published an article exactly about the frustrations that business owners face, sending it to you here for quick find. Let me know if you enjoy it. And then you can really start weaving some great relationship building with your newfound contacts on LinkedIn without a sell. You're just saying, hey, I wrote an article that I think might help. Let me know if you enjoy it.
Yes. Yes. Okay, great. I mean, this is a really valuable tool, I think, especially because of the SEO functionality, you know.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
no, it's great. And
absolutely.
building credibility and awesome. I mean, I love
And
that story of yours, you know, how it kind of all that
got
time
picked up.
later they reached out
Yes.
to you. It's
I
incredible.
mean,
Well
it was
done.
lovely. I got a DM from the head. They were actually called rector, but it was a tertiary institution who wanted me to speak about purpose. And I said, why did you immediately when anyone chooses me to speak, I'll say, how did you find out about me? And she said, because of the article that you wrote. So it's
Amazing.
super powerful. And we can control what LinkedIn have done now is they've given us those settings. So a lot of people will write on LinkedIn and they'll go, but you can't find my article. You have to go in and populate those SEO settings in each
Right.
individual article and for your newsletter. So
Okay.
LinkedIn really are shifting to be able to support entrepreneurs, bring
Mm.
entrepreneurs in place, giving them the tools of dynamic events, wonderful newsletter options to use. And
Great.
I know that it can be a little bit overwhelming, and that's why we're going to have a video on how to deal with the overwhelm as an entrepreneur on LinkedIn, because when it all starts, it's like, where do I even begin? But
Mm.
that is the end of the video of writing long form content on LinkedIn.